We interrupt your regularly scheduled evening with some breaking Switch news about the next Switch, because new details have emerged that say Switch Pro might in fact be a no-go, and instead Nintendo may turn their focus to Switch 2 in 2024. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. This is a big topic that we need to dive into because Switch Pro has been something that has ruffled our feathers for a while now. And the ebbs and flows of this saga has been very involved and I'd say pretty entertaining. But maybe Nintendo has decided to turn the entertainment off until the next real generation begins. So make sure to let me know in the comments down below what you think of this, and if you do believe Nintendo has scrapped plans for Switch Pro and is going to wait 2.5 to 3 more years before they drop some new piece of hardware. Also hit that like button if you enjoy these videos and are excited for this year of Nintendo Switch, okay? Because there's so many great games coming out, and in a way it would be great to not have to worry about a new system. We could just enjoy the game. And thanks to my good friends at PDP, you can grab one of their Face-Off Deluxe Plus audio controllers, which is a fantastic value, and I can make it even cheaper for you with my coupon code SwitchForce10. Check it out, link in the description down below, and you can be prepped for the new Mario game. But just in case a new Mario game don't come in 2022, one thing that I believe will come in 2022 is this guy right here. Now that is a nice combo. I really like these controllers because they got customizable paddles on the back, good triggers, nice sticks, they feel good, and you can even plug your headphones in to speak, listen, and communicate during your multiplayer sessions. This controller is a great value, and you can make it even better with my coupon code, so make sure to click the link in the description down below. Every time you do, it helps support the channel and the show, and I'm very grateful to you for that. Now, I'm also grateful to GameIndustry.biz and Dr. Serkin Toto for providing this insight into Nintendo's future hardware plans. There was an article discussing Nintendo's future, and in it, Dr. Serkin Toto said that he thinks next year is going to be flat for console growth. Switch will slow down a bit, but still sell over 20 million units. It'll be the top seller, big surprise to nobody. But he said something interesting towards the end. He said, I'm not expecting a Switch Pro in 2022. We have a next-gen Nintendo console in our forecast for late 2024, so I'm not convinced a Pro model is going to appear at all. Now, this is fascinating on 2 levels. One, because 2024 for the next Switch, that means we got all of 2022, all of 2023, and almost all of 2024 before Nintendo goes next gen, before Nintendo goes 4K, which you might be really confused about or you might think is totally fine. But the other half of this that's really interesting is that he says, I'm not convinced a Pro model is going to appear at all. And that would mean that Nintendo possibly abandoned the Pro plans due to the circumstances of the globe and what is going on with current Switch sales. Let me wind you back to before E3 2021 when everybody and their brother thought that the new Switch model was a 4K enhanced system, better power, more comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Everybody was wrong because the new Switch was the OLED model, which, don't get me wrong, I love. It's amazing. It's better than you think it would be. Like, that bigger screen, brighter screen makes more of a difference than I thought may be possible. Is it worth buying a new one for? But it's really a nice upgrade. But no 4K. And yet Bloomberg, the biggest proponents of the Switch Pro, doubled down in September saying, yo, we know 11, count them, 11 developers that have 4K Switches. So what do they have them for? What are they working on? And they noted that a new 4K Switch could come at the end of 2022. And that is why Serkin Toto is specifically referencing not expecting a Switch Pro in 2022. Nintendo themselves denied this heavily. As soon as the Bloomberg report came out that 11 devs had 4K units, they said, no, we got no plans for more Switches. The OLED is the model, please go buy it next month. And that was PR speak because they had to say that, right? Like, they're selling a new Switch. They don't want you to think that there's a better, bigger Switch coming next year. But what if it wasn't PR spin? What if it actually was just naked truth? What if Nintendo was being actually honest about their console plans? And maybe they did have plans for a 4K Pro, and then maybe because of the chip shortage and all sorts of global issues, they reduced it to an OLED to put something out, fulfill the orders that they'd already made, and then decided, you know what, we don't need another Switch SKU, let's just roll into Switch 2. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting, because if you scroll to the bottom of Bloomberg's September article, beyond where they say that Zynga has a 4K Switch and 10 other developers, and oh my goodness, it would be powerful, they say this: Nintendo could still decide to not release a 4K Switch. The Kyoto, Japan-based company has quietly shelved numerous products over the years for strategic reasons or technical challenges. One noteworthy example is a sleep monitor called Quality of Life the company unveiled in 2014 and never sold. Now this felt like them just making sure they were covering both angles, but what if they actually were predicting the future? What if Nintendo is deciding to shelve the 4K Switch and save it for a true next-gen successor because they have such a powerful lineup and the games already sell like hotcakes? Why the need to introduce a new, more expensive model when your current model is pushing over 100 million units and about to overtake the Wii as the biggest selling Nintendo home console ever? They're predicting 20 million more this year. That's gonna put it to 121, and then you're just in the absolute upper echelon of all video games of all time. It's just unbelievable. And if it's selling that well with the graphics we currently have, why introduce something that could potentially rock the market, shift the boat, splinter the fan mindset? You've got the mindshare, you've got the hearts, and you have a huge list of games to release. Your current console might be okay. Now there is a side where developers do want to put their third-party games on better systems to match up with Xbox and match up with Sony, but maybe you don't need to do that. The third-party titles aren't what make people buy the Switch. This system was poised to last for 7-8 years, and 2024 would put it around 7 to 8 years of Nintendo Switch. And just think, we got Breath of the Wild 2 this year, Splatoon 3, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Prime 4 is still out there for Metroid fans. Pokemon happens every single year. Mario Kart 9 is currently being rumored, and we know Nintendo has to be working on the next evolution of 3D Mario. Maybe they can actually squeeze 3 more years out of this Switch using the OLED as the upgrade. And since they already invested in the OLED, maybe over time the OLED drops in price. And maybe you are more inclined to pick one up at $299 than you were at $350, and maybe they can prove they don't need this Switch Pro at all. In fact, I bet a lot of you out there are cheering right now, saying Nintendo don't need a Switch Pro. They don't need 4K, at least not yet. Eventually they will, and we've said forever on this channel that inevitably Nintendo will turn to a powerful 4K based system. But right now, why clutter the market share with even more SKUs if you don't need to? Why invest the R&D? Why put it out there? And why confuse and potentially rupture what you've already achieved? I think Nintendo actually might be better off just shifting that focus towards the next system and telling developers, hey, you can prep and get ready because this thing is coming. 2024 feels late to me. I would have said maybe end of 2023. But if we get 3 more great years of Switch, I think that this system can firmly establish itself as a challenger to the PS2 and the SNES and even the handheld DS as the best system of all time with the most incredible library. Nintendo Switch is legendary already, but with 3 more years, and if all the games you've heard rumored end up being pushed onto this generation of hardware instead of being saved for some sort of sequel, that would make this unbeatable. 2024 for a new Switch Pro gets shelved. How do you feel about it? Now there's a chance Nintendo could reveal something, maybe even something different. I don't know, they do an upgraded Switch Lite with the OLED screen, or they do a smaller OLED, something of weird sorts that Nintendo loves to do. They're always ready to throw a wild card at you. But I'm now starting to think that maybe Nintendo will indeed not do 4K until they're ready for the true successor to Switch. They iterated with the Lite, they iterated with the OLED. 3 pillars, maybe that's enough. Maybe Nintendo's building a teepee and not a house, and man, they sure have packed that teepee with great cartridges and tons of cash, so I'm sure they will not be hurting no matter what they decide to do. But let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I love you guys a lot. I'm excited for the future of Nintendo because you know that Good Morning Mario, SwitchForce, and me will be here, whatever Nintendo decides, and we'll be playing the games, checking out the hardware, and bringing you the latest news, rumors, updates, and opinions for everything from the big end. Until next time though, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Make sure you're staying safe, staying healthy, staying happy, staying positive out there. And until next time, I love you a lot. SwitchForce, out.